Hi, and welcome to the Creative Treehouse. My name is Robin Broom, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. Thanks for joining me in the treehouse today. Today's project, we're going to be making a sympathy card, and I just liked being able to make a softer flower. And let me show you the difference. This one is a little bolder, and that's fine for some applications, but I liked the softer flower for a sympathy card. I'm going to hold them up just a little bit closer so that you can maybe see a difference in them. What I did with this one is what we typically do, and that is we use the Memento ink and make an outline, and then we're going to just color in with blends or whatever. And that's that one. So, but let me show you how to make it a little bit softer. What we're going to do first is you see that there is an embossing folder, and it's the small embossing folder. It comes in a set. It's called the Greenery embossing folders, and there's two of them. And this is the one, and I just think it's a great folder, and it almost gives you an optical illusion of which way these leaves are going. It's really kind of neat. And what I did was, one time I used it with completely, but I liked it just a little bit shorter. So I took a whole row, 2 rows, 1.5 rows, I guess it's 2 rows off. And I just, on my regular size paper, I just went through the emboss in the machine that way. And then, and I did it on a piece of paper instead of, I guess you could do it on your actual card base, but I did it just on your 5.5 by 4.25 piece of Whisper White, and so it would look like that, and then we would adhere it. Otherwise, if it was just on your card, the front of your card or the inside of your card would look like that, which I think is fine. But I made a separate piece, and then what I did was I used Whisper White again, and I used the rich stitched rectangle, and it's the 4th from the biggest size, and I used that and cut out the rectangle. And then I used a mat, and the mat is cut at 4.25 by 2 7/8, and that's the mat that goes underneath there. And just very simple and very clean. So let me bring the stitched back, and I'll show you what we're going to do. We're going to use the Poppies. It's from the Painted Poppies set. It's a gorgeous set, and our sentiment, while I'm thinking about it, is from part of that bundle, the Peaceful Moments bundle. And on the inside of the card, I used a different set. I used the Kindness and Compassion, and I used the Sending Comforting Hugs and Healing Prayers. So sorry for your loss, and that was the inside. Okay, instead of using the Memento, the black Tuxedo Memento ink, we're going to ink it up with the Stampin Write Markers. And I used one, the Always Artichoke, which is a discontinued one, but you can also use Mossy Meadow would work too. And then I just take the brush tip end, and you just color in, and I kind of take it to the side of the pen, and I just color in, go over all the leaf and the stem. Just be sure, sometimes I'll go over it a couple times to be sure I got it all. And this is a pretty easy one to do. It's not just 2 colors. Okay, and after I did that, then I moved and I used the Rich Razzleberry, and I did the same thing. I'll take the brush tip, and that's where I'm going to do the bloom on the top and the little bud down here. Again, just going to make sure that you've got it all. You're just going to go back and forth. The red rubber stamps work the best for this, I think, but you can also use the photopolymer and do the same thing. Okay, and then I do, it's called different things, but I like to call it the Darth Vader technique, and that is you're just going to go, you're going to you're just going to kind of breathe on it and to moisten it all up in case any of it has dried while you were coloring. So let me do the Darth Vader technique. And then I'll place it on there so that all of it's moist and ready to go. And then you've got your colors, and they're nice and soft and subtle. And then we're going to take our Stampin' Blends and we're going to color with them. And I think this is again one that's discontinued, but you can use whichever one you have or whichever colors you would like. This is the lovely lipstick, and this is the lighter one. And I usually use the brush tip and I color in, and then I use the finer tip to get in the details so that I can stay within the lines a little better. All right, I just love the blends. And once I've got that colored in, and you'd be doing the same thing with the Memento, but this is just a softer version. Okay, do all of that, and then I'll take the dark of the same, in this case, lovely lipstick, and I'll just add a little bit more, like that. And then blend it again with so it's not quite so harsh with the light. All right, and then I'm going to take, I feel like the blends are a little bit too thick, even the skinny one, to do the insides, and so I use the Stampin Write marker, and I think I'll use the Pear Pizzazz one, and I'll color in the leaves. The leaf, I guess there's just one leaf, and the stem with those, because being thinner, it's even, I'm going to switch to the fine tip on that. It's a really skinny, if you're very careful you can use a blend, but it's just a lot easier to stay within the lines with a Stampin' Write marker. All right, there you go. All right. So there's that, and then all you're going to do is you're going to, we need to do our sentiment, and that one we will use the Memento. So that's the only dark spot, will be our sentiment with the deepest sympathy. And then it's just a very elegant card. And then we're using the dots from the same stamp set, and I'm going to use Sahara Sand ink, and I'm probably going to stamp off a little bit, make it a little softer. Yes, I like the stamping off better. And we'll just do it a couple of times, just to add a little more dimension, a little bit more interest. So that's ready, and all we're going to do is we will adhere that to our mat, and then we will adhere it onto our card base. And you can actually put your the embossing folder on this side or this side, and I like it both ways. It's kind of hard to decide, and you can also center this or you can slide it off to the side. Now I do like to use the liquid glue just because I think it because of all the indentations, I think it adheres very well, and so that's how you would put it to the folder and to the card base, and there you have it. It's just a much softer flower, and again I'll see if I can compare this one to the one that I use the Memento with, and you can just see the difference, that one of them is just a lot softer than the other one. So except for the shadows, I think you can see it, and they both have their places. So if you just want it a little bit softer, then I would do the Darth Vader technique on the flower there. So there you have it, and that's your project for today. The pretty simple sympathy card. It's pretty easy to make, and I hope you give it a try. And if you have any tips or suggestions, you can leave them in the comments. And I love comments. Please leave a comment, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I will see you next time in the treehouse. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.